What's up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be learning how to do these really cute high-waisted biker shorts, or like capris, like above the knee kind of shorts. And what you're going to need is a 2.75mm hook and some scissors. And this is the yarn I'm using. It is Caron 1 pound. I think this is the first time I actually worked with this yarn before, and I really like it. It's in the color off-white. And then you're going to go ahead and grab your 2.75mm hook, and what we're going to be doing is, I did a foundation half double crochet row. I did 10, and this is going to be the waistband. So I did 10 half double crochet foundation stitches. You can start with a chain base and then half double crochet on top of the chain if you want, or you can do the foundation base like I did. If I'm not showing it well enough for you, there's plenty of videos on YouTube that will show you how to do it. It's really easy, and it makes things go a little bit quicker. So yeah, I did 10 of those. And then when you're done with that, you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and then for the first stitch, you're going to put a regular half double crochet into that very first stitch. So hold on a sec. There we go. Half double crochet in that very first stitch. And in the second stitch, we're going to be working in the third bar. So we're not going to go through the top of the stitch right there. There's a little stitch on the side that I'm trying to show you right now, and that's where you're going to be putting your half double crochet. It's called half double crochet in the third bar, and I actually did this in my last video, in my for the cuffs for my sweater video. I did the same technique in that other video too. So what you're going to do is, in the first and last stitch, you're going to put a regular half double crochet, but all the stitches in between, you're going to go right into that third bar. And if you have any questions about that, feel free to slow the video down, or to ask me any questions down below. So you're just going to keep on doing the same thing, and this is the waistband. So this is going to go around your stomach, not really too low, because remember we're doing high-waisted, so make it long enough to fit around your stomach, but not too tight and not too loose, like you want it to be like. You can actually make it a little bit loose because we're going to be putting a drawstring, but just make sure it's not too tight. And so I'm all done with my waistband here, and this is what it should look like. And you don't have to do it this way, you can go into the back loops if you want. Like, that makes a really good waistband too, but I just decided to do it this way. And here I'm just showing you guys, I'm gonna sew it together, or connect the two pieces to make it into a circle. And I just decided to do mine with single crochet, and I'm just showing you how I'm doing it right here on camera. I just went right ahead and connected it with single crochet. I go into the front loop of the stitch facing me and the back loop of the other stitch, and then I just single crochet, and I did that all the way down. Super easy. You guys can connect any way you want. Slip stitch, you can sew it with a needle or anything like that, but around here we do single crochet, super easy, and it doesn't bunch it up or nothing like that. And when you're all done with that, this is what it should look like. So yeah, so now what you're going to do is chain 1, and don't cut your yarn. And then now we're just going to put a single crochet border around the waistband, so it's easier for us to work with. There's not really a perfect way to do this because we are working into the size of half double crochets, so you just kind of have to figure it out, and make sure that they're evenly spaced, make sure they're not too clumped up together or too far apart. There's not really a exact science on how to do it, honestly. So yeah, when you finish with that, make sure you slip stitch into that first single crochet, and then we're going to chain up a chain of 3, and now we're going to be double crocheting. So now we're going to double crochet all the way around, and every single crochet stitch you made, we're just going to put a double crochet. So this part of the work, we're starting to make the more high waist part of the waistband. This is not the body. This is the waist still. So when you finish with your double crochet, slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 space. And now what we're going to do is we're going to be creating something called belt loops, which I learned from another YouTuber, Radiance. She has a YouTube channel, and I'm gonna give her a shout out after this clip. But what you do is you single crochet, you do 4 single crochet, just like this, and then you're going to do a back post treble crochet. It's called a back post treble crochet into the next stitch. So what you're going to do is you wrap your yarn around twice, and then you go around the back post like this. Oops. And there's you know, you could look it up for some more in-depth tutorials on how to do back post stitches, but you're going to do a back post treble crochet into the next stitch, around the next stitch, and then you're going to continue doing 4 more single crochet. 1, 2, oops, 3, 4, and then now the next, around that next double crochet, we're going to do a back post treble crochet. Now the reason why we're doing back post is because our work is inside out right now. If your work was the right side, you would do a front post treble crochet. It just depends on which side of your work you're working on, and you're going to continue doing that all the way around till you get to the beginning. Ooh, I was having a little bit of trouble there. But the actual treble crochet is creating belt loops, and I really like this technique for these type of pants that I'm making right now. I just thought it would look better than how we normally do when we just weave it in and out, make the drawstring in and out. So yeah, continue doing that. 4 single crochet, and then a back post treble crochet, 4 single crochet, and then a back post treble crochet. And I'm just showing you what the little loops look like when you're done. All right, and keep doing that all the way around till you get to the beginning. And I'm just gonna go ahead and insert this quick little shout out right here. This is Radiance's channel, Chasing Sunray. Y'all go right ahead and follow her. She got great tutorials, and that's where I learned how to do this technique from. That's who I learned it from. So when you finish and you get around to the beginning, you're going to slip stitch into the top of your first single crochet, and then you're going to chain 1 and put a single crochet right into that same stitch, and then single crochet all the way around. Nothing special. That's just how we're gonna go ahead and end off this part of the tutorial. So you could cut your yarn when you finish this this part. All right, so you're all done with your belt loops and your waistband, and this is what it should look like. It's cute, yeah, and it's a good stretch to it, you know. All right, so now we're gonna attach our yarn on the bottom of our work, right at that seam. You're gonna go ahead and grab your yarn. I did a slip stitch. You know, people attach their yarn all kinds of different ways. This is just how I decided to do it for this particular, I don't know, you know what I'm trying to say. I just do a slip knot and I just attach with a slip stitch, just like this, and then I single crochet, and then I pull it tight, just like that. And now what we're gonna do is single crochet all the way around, just like we did before, to make a base for our next row. So just single crochet all the way around. There's no perfect way to do it, you know, but just make sure it's spaced out evenly. And then when you get around to the beginning, slip stitch into the first single crochet, and then we're going to chain 3, and then we're actually going to be turning our work from every row now on. We're going to round. Now from this point forward, we're going to turn our work, but you chain up 3, turn your work, and then double crochet all the way around. Nothing special, just do your double crochets all the way around, and then when you're all finished, slip stitch right into the top of that chain 3 space, and chain up 3 again, turn your work. And now from this row forward, you're going to be increasing by 2 each round. Now, you don't have to increase in any particular space each round. Just make sure you do 2 increases each round. Try not to put them right next to each other or right on top of each other each round. And try not to do it in the beginning of your work either. It doesn't really matter. But in 2 random places for each round, you're going to increase. You're going to do 2 increases each round. Hopefully this makes sense. I'm going to show you guys in a second where I increased. I just did like 10 or 15 regular double crochets, and then I went ahead and did an increase right here. I put 2 double crochet into the same space. That's my first increase, and then I'm gonna keep on double crocheting all the way around till I kind of get around to the other side over here, and then I'm gonna increase. I'm gonna increase on the other side as well. It doesn't have to be exactly, you know, exact number of stitches apart, but just in the general, you know what I'm trying to say. So yeah, 2 increases per row for as long as you need it to fit over your butt or wherever you want your crotch to start. I did mine for 9 rows, so I did 2 increases per round for 9 rows, and this is what it looks like. Okay, so I counted my stitches around perimeter of my work, and I actually came out with 95 stitches, which is not an even number, and it won't divide by 2 pretty or easily. So what we're going to do is we're just going to, even though we already increased in this row, I'm just gonna put 2 double crochet right here in the second to last stitch, just to make it even, because this is going to be the crotch area anyway, and 1 extra stitch is really not going to make that big of a difference. So I'm going to add the stitch and I'll be right back. Okay, so now that I have an even number, now I have 26 stitches around the perimeter of my work, I'm going to go ahead and write that number down, 96. Alright, so now what you're going to do is divide that number by 2. So 96 divided by 2 for me equals 48. Now everybody's numbers are going to be different. I'm just putting this like a little formula out there to help you guys make your legs even. This is just the easy way that I figured out. So now that we have 48, so half of our work is 48 and the other half of our work is 48. So now you have to remember about your crotch area. So your crotch area is 5 stitches wide. So you're going to take 48 minus 5, which is 43. So now each leg is going to be 43 stitches around. So what you're gonna do, wow, so I'm so sorry you guys, it seems like I forgot to include the footage of me doing the crotch, or I forgot to record it. I swear I recorded it, but I guess I didn't. So when you finish doing your increase rounds for the top of your shorts until you get to the crotch area, what you're gonna do, it's really easy. I'll add a link up to my easy crochet shorts where I put a card up so you guys can go look at that too, see if you need a visual. But what you're going to do is when you finish doing that, you're going to chain up a chain of 3, and then you're going to do 5 double crochet across, and then you're going to chain up a chain of 3 again, turn your work, and then do 5 across, and you're going to do that for 6 rows. So that's going to be your crotch, and once you finish that, then you're going to count your stitches around and all of that, and go on to the next step. So I'm really sorry I left that out, you guys. That was like a really big mistake. So I hope it's not too hard for you guys to do. All right. Is you're gonna grab your work, and I have my crotch right here, and I'm gonna start on the very, let me get this in focus. There we go. And I'm gonna start on the very next stitch around, and I'm gonna go all the way around until I get to 43. And when I get to 43, I'm gonna put a stitch marker in the next stitch over. So on stitch 44, I put a stitch marker here. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. I'm gonna start on the next stitch over from the crotch, and we're gonna go around and count 43. And then when I get to 43, I'm going to put a stitch marker in the next stitch over, which is stitch number 44. And then if you did your math correctly, you should have 5 stitches here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just like that, you made it, you made your legs even. So I'm gonna go ahead and attach my crotch to the other side using single crochet, just like we did for the waistband. And make sure you guys' work is inside out when you attach your crotch to the other side, so that the seam is on the inside of your work, so that's not showing when you flip it inside out. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that off camera. I'll be right. Okay, so now that we've attached our crotch to the other side, make sure you don't cut your yarn, and we're going to chain up a chain of 3, and then we're gonna start on the leg. So you've got your crotch attached right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches across. So actually in that 5th stitch, where you already have this chain 3 coming out of, that you attached to your crotch, you're actually going to put a double crochet right into that stitch, so that you don't have a weird gap. Because if you let's say you were to skip that stitch and go into the next available stitch that doesn't have anything in it, you're gonna have this weird hole right here, which I really don't like. So I decided to just go ahead and put a stitch right here in that same stitch, so that it doesn't look like there's a weird hole right there in your crotch area. So then what you're going to do is you're going to continue around double crocheting until we get over here, and then I'll show you guys what to do when we get over to the other side. Okay, so now we made it all the way around to the other side of the crotch, and just like we did in the beginning of our work, we're going to do at the end of our work, where we're going to actually put a stitch into the last connecting stitch of our crotch here. We're going to add a stitch right in there, because we don't want to have a weird gap going from this stitch. And what we're going to be doing is putting double crochets into the sides of our crotch, into the side of the double crochet. But if you were to just go right ahead and start in that double crochet, you have this kind of strange hole right here. So that's why we're going to go ahead and add an extra stitch right here, just to fill in the gaps basically. And then you're going to go ahead and continue onto the crotch, and you're going to put 2 double crochet around the entire double crochet space. So you're just going to go right into the entire space and put 2 inside for each one. Just like this. Oops. Alright, so now we're all the way at the end, and we're going to slip stitch into the top of our chain 3 space that we started with. Just like that. And then what you're going to do is you want to make a chain, and then what you're going to do now is you've got your leg completed. Just kidding. What you're gonna do now is you're just gonna count the amount of stitches you have all the way around, and write that number down and put it aside, because once you completely finish this leg and we go on to the next leg, after you do that first round, you want to make sure that your count matches up, because you want to make sure that your legs are completely even. Like, you don't even want one stitch to be off. So yeah, so go ahead and just count how many stitches you have in this row, write it down, put it aside, and you know, when you completely finish this leg and you come back to this leg, you're going to be so happy that you wrote that number down, so that you can make sure that your legs are even. I'm just like, when you're making pants and you're making shorts, you just really want to make sure that those legs are even. You don't want one leg big and one leg too small, or you know, even one stitch can like throw everything off. So go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you back. Alright, so now that we've counted our stitches around and put that aside for later, I've already chained up 1, so I'm going to chain 2 more for a total of chaining up 3, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn my work. Make sure you guys are turning your work after every single round, because you want your seam. See, let me show you. I think I showed you before, but see, this is our seam right here, and you can really, I mean, you can see it because this is your work and all, like, you know where your seam is at, but I feel like from a distance you can't really tell that bad where the seam is. I mean, and if you weren't turning your work, everything around your seam would run a diagonal line like this, and it would be really noticeable if you guys weren't turning your work. So make sure, I know I say this in like every single video where you're working in the round, but make sure you guys turn your work. It really does make a huge difference. So now that you've chained 3 and turned your work, you're just going to continue doing rounds of double crochet, no increasing and no decreasing, for about a total of 5 rows. So I already did 1 row, so I'm going to do 4 more rows of just no increasing, no decreasing, regular double crochets. Alright, so we're at the end of row number 5 for our leg, and I slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 space, and I'm going to go ahead and chain up 3, turn my work, and what you're going to do is you're just going to continue double crocheting, but what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to decrease your stitches by 2 around this round, and it doesn't really matter what place you do it. You just don't want to do it like, you don't want to decrease them right next to each other, and you don't really want to decrease right in the beginning of your work. So what I usually do when I'm doing legs is I just double crochet a couple of random stitches, a random number, doesn't really matter, and then I go ahead and put a decrease right here. You guys should know how to decrease already. Oops, like this. There's my decrease, and then what I usually do is I just keep on double crocheting all the way around, and then I'll probably place the decrease over here so it's like a little bit even, but I'm not going to count stitches or anything like that because it doesn't really need to be perfect. I mean, you could put it here, it doesn't really matter. Just make sure that you decrease 2 stitches for the next 5 rows. Sorry about that. So you're going to decrease by 2 stitches for the next 5 rows, and I'll meet you back. Alright, so once you finish your 5 rows of 2 decreases per row, so you should have, so you should have a total of 10 rows for your leg, and we're actually done with the leg. So you got 5 rows of no increase, no decrease, and then you have 5 rows of 2 decrease per row. So now what we're going to do is, to finish off the leg, is just do a round of single crochet. So chain up 1, put a single crochet into the top of that chain 3 space, and then you're just going to continue single crocheting all the way around, and then when you come back around to the beginning, slip stitch into that first single crochet, chain 1, and cut your yarn, and then you're done for 1 leg. And then I'm going to show you guys where to attach and how to get started for your second leg, which is exactly the same as the first leg, and then you guys are done. So I'll meet you back. Alright, so we're all done with 1 leg, and now we're going to go ahead and attach our yarn on the other side so that we can do our second leg. So you guys want to make sure, so right here is my seam for my first leg, and you guys just want to make sure that your seam is on the same side on the other side. So originally what we did when we finished sewing the crotch together, we chained up 3 right here, and then we worked around. So what you're going to do on this side is you're just going to kind of put your, you know, the single crochet that you use to connect your crotch together, you're going to put your hook through one of the last single crochets there, and then you're just going to attach your yarn. I attach mine with a slip stitch and a single crochet, just like this, and then that single crochet for me counts as 1 chain, so then I'm going to chain up 2, so then basically like a chain of 3, and then you're just going to continue doing what you did on your other leg. So you're going to put that extra stitch right here so that you don't have that big hole, and then just continue double crocheting around, and you guys know what to do. It's the exact same thing as the first leg. Go ahead and do your 5 rows of no increase, no decrease, 5 rows of decrease by 2 each row, and then a single crochet to finish off. And you guys make sure you make your drawstring for your pants, for these belt loops here. I'm not going to show the drawstring on camera because I've shown it a bunch of times. Basically what you're going to do is 2 strands of yarn. Make sure it's double-stranded. You can like take the yarn from the ends, like, you know, like the yarn that comes from the inside of your skein and then the one that wraps around the outside. You can like take both of those and then put them together and then chain up a chain long enough to fit around your waist and make a tie. Or you can just pull a really long strand and then double it and then do it like that. But that's it, you guys. Next thing you're gonna see is the finished product, and I'm gonna put it on and model it for you guys, and then we are done. All right, so this is it, and I made a cute little matching top to match, and I threw on a little jacket, and there we go. So cute. I love this color. All right, so once again, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to Chasing Sunray YouTube. This is Radiance's YouTube. Make sure you guys go right ahead and follow her. She got some great videos on there. I've learned a lot from her videos. And also, I want you guys to check out this other page, Naturally Danielle, who is being very supportive of me and my channel, and I just want to give it right back to her. Make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe to her channel. She got lots of cool tutorials on there as well. Alright, so thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at CraftsByAliyah, and also my online shop at tpop.com. Alright, thank y'all so much again. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye.